I know you talked a bit about after that last game about getting the chance to watch film on Drake. I guess you said that you thought they were a pretty good team then. And what was the film showing you since?
Yeah, what I believe prior to opening the laptop, they're very well schooled. They're veteran. You can't quote me on this. I think they got all 5 starters back from the NCAA tournament team that won a game, if not at least 4. And the 5 the guys that do start were all big-time valuable members of last year's team. They had an at-large bid, if I'm not mistaken, and won a game in the NCAA tournament. So they played a challenging schedule. They just got done, playing at Richmond and at St. Louis, and those are tough places to play. And we're going to get them when they're going to be in a foul mood. They're going to want this game going into the break, stop their skid, and get right before conference play begins.
Paul, go ahead.
Got a couple, Coach. I guess since the game the other night, what's kind of been the emphasis in practice since then, and any update on Shaq?
I'll address Shaq first. He hasn't practiced played since midway through the second half of Jackson State when he was injured. So it doesn't look good. We don't practice obviously the day before. He just doesn't feel well enough yet. What was the other part?
Just about what the emphasis has been on in practice since.
Getting better, playing better. Pretty obvious that we're not playing our best recently. We found a way to win. That's the silver lining, but we're just not playing as well as we were. And if I knew the answer to it, I would fix it. I'm searching for it. We're all searching for it. We got one more crack before SEC play begins, and this will be tough. These games are always tough. You've heard coaches over time talk about these games being hard because they all have plans. Some are flying back with the team, some are going home from there. They got arrangements that had to be made, packing that had to be made. They got plans with their families, and rightfully so. And so, we tried to take care of all that stuff before we left today to make sure we could focus on the task at hand. But we'll have our hands full for a number of reasons. One, how we're playing. Two, our opponent, where it's at, real close to their campus. There won't be a lot of people there at 4 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon. So we'll be up against it a little bit and have to create our own energy.
One more question. It's been kind of an interesting situation at that 4 spot this year, and you've got some pretty good production there, but one night it may be Tyler, the other night it may be Cam, maybe Keyshawn off the bench. Just your thoughts on that group and what they've been able to do for you so far.
Yeah, we've been by committee. Cam's been the head of it and played the most minutes, but definitely been by committee, like you've said. Tyler's had a big game in his recent outing. Keyshawn had one 2 or 3 games ago where he had a nice shot in the arm for us. Both of them need to be more consistent. The good thing for for Murph and Tyler is if they play so well in practice and in the games, they know we can move Mook around. He's capable. He's already shown us the ability to play other positions. So it's not like, oh gosh, it doesn't matter how well I play, I'm kind of stuck. They're not, and we have enough movable parts at this point in the year that no one should feel that way. They all should look at it as if I play better in practice and in the games, coach is going to play me more, and that's what we talk about all the time. And we'll see, who does.
Steph, go ahead.
You talked about Tyler there a little bit. I mean, what's kind of the message to guys like him who have never been through the heart of SEC play to kind of get them prepared for when that kicks off here?
Either have I. So who am I to give them advice of that nature? I try the best I can to talk about what I expect when SEC play rolls around, but we're not getting ahead of ourselves either. This game is meaningful. Every game is meaningful. We've got a target on our back. It'll be a huge game for them, and hopefully our mentality would be it's a huge game for us, and we want to really feel good, heading into the break, and then get that little reset, some time away from it, time with family, and then get ready for the gauntlet of the SEC. But certainly I've been through a lot of conference races and been involved in a lot of them at different places and at different jobs, or if you will, within the staff. And it's their heart. It's just the scouting goes up a notch, the familiarity goes up a notch, the crowds usually get better, and obviously the league's done really, really well thus far.
Let's go to Danny Peter, coach's right.
Coach, trying to piggyback off Paul's question just a little bit about rotations and using guys off the bench. Has there been maybe one or two guys, or maybe even three, that you come off the bench that giving you something extra maybe that we're not aware of?
We play a lot of guys in terms of minutes. Like if you look at Ken Palm, I think we're one of the top teams in the country for bench minutes. I tell our guys that, like, hey, you're playing for a coach that wants to play a lot of guys. Some programs really lock into 7 or 8, and that's kind of it, and they stick with the rotations, and their belief is they want their guys knowing kind of when they're coming in and out of the game and who they're going to be playing with, and having confidence in knowing that I'm going to get this many minutes, and that's not how we do it. And so for those guys that aren't the main guys, it's a breath of fresh air. It's like, hey, you should be more motivated because of the opportunity that could await you. But in terms of where we're at with all that, like, we've started for the most part the same lineup. We've had to tweak it once or twice because of illnesses or injuries or what have you. But that doesn't mean that we won't going forward. And in terms of who's going to be coming in and out of the game, I mean, you guys follow us, you see who's playing, and we just need to have better production from everybody. And like I keep telling them, like, after the ball is tipped, everybody comes off the bench. Everybody does. The 5 starters start, and after 3, 4, 5 minutes, 6 at the most usually, everybody the rest of the game is coming off the bench. And so it's all the same mentality. You got to be ready to go. You got to stay focused in the game. You got to be ready, to get in the game and get in the flow. You don't have time, I need a couple of runs, coach, to get my legs underneath me. That's not how it works in college basketball.